Proverbs says, as a man thinks in his heart, what? So is he. That's right. So, for example, if someone spends their time watching sports, this is what comes out in their lives. They're thinking about the game or the match. They're playing in their minds. They're thinking about stats. They're thinking about trades. They're thinking about opponents. And let me tell you something. I know what I'm talking about. And after a while, it becomes everything and you don't want to be constantly thinking about it, but as a person thinks, so they become. And this is one reason I had to put down some of my sports watching. Because for some of us, it can become an obsession and an addiction. And we've got to know where the line is. How do you know when something is an addiction or an obsession? Anything that you can't put down at will is an addiction. Did you hear what I just said? And addictions aren't static. They don't stay the same. They take us somewhere, usually not for the better. Any of you that have ever had to deal with an addiction or know someone that has, you know what I'm talking about. I remember I used to watch ESPN. Well, first I would watch my games. I would watch the Knicks. I don't want to hear about it. Don't tell me nothing about it. All right. I would just watch the Yankees. I would watch the Giants. Amen. I'd even watch the Jets. And then that wasn't enough. I had to watch ESPN because then I had to watch the highlights. And then I had to watch later Sports Center because then I had to watch them talk about the game. So after a while, it became hours that and then I had to know who was being traded and what their statistics were and the combines for football. And after a while, I was realizing I was spending hours. And this is not just sports. This could be anything you're addicted to. And I had to realize, wait a minute. This is time I could be spending with the Lord. As I was growing, I realized, wait a minute, I'm missing out time from God. So I had to go cold turkey. I had to go cold turkey, Sharon. I had to go completely cold. And so I just shut it all off for a couple of years. Now I will occasionally catch the sports highlights. But I know my limitations. I know me. That's me. Am I telling you to do that? No, not necessarily. But that was me. You got to know where the line is for you. Got to know where the line is. So even for us as believers, and I was a Christian, I was a pastor, and I couldn't get enough of it. So I knew I had to make a change. But any believer, any of us, if you yield yourself to something, you become under its control. I want to show you why I say that. Romans 6. Paul said it very well here. I had to learn these verses in college because I knew I needed them there. Romans chapter 6, verse 16. Do you not know that to whom you present yourselves slaves to obey, you are that one slaves to whom you obey, whether it be sin leading to death or obedience leading to righteousness. 3 things in this verse I want to show you. 1, you presented yourself. It didn't come on you and jump you. It could be video games. It could be addictions to movies. It could be anything, and you know what it is. Let me tell you something. It can even be music. It can even, if you can't put it down for a period of time, it's becoming an obsession. And you have to know that Christ must be first. He must be first. So it says here, you presented yourself, and it didn't just jump me, didn't come on me. That was my contribution. I presented myself. Secondly, I became a slave to it. That's what the verse says. Whoever you present yourself to, that one's slave you become. And it doesn't happen suddenly. It takes time for some of us, but eventually it controls you. That's the way it works. And once it controls you, the third thing is it leads somewhere. Sin leading to death, or obedience leading to righteousness. And if you're like me, I want obedience. I don't want sin controlling me. I've had enough of sin controlling my life. It's time for obedience to the Lord. and you can be free from the slavery to sin. You've got to know how to do it. You can do it in the way that I'm about to show you in verse 19. We may not have it on the screen, so if you have a Bible, look at it with me. Verse 19, Romans 6. This is what it says. I speak, Paul says, in human terms because of the weakness of your flesh. Just as you presented your members as slaves to uncleanness and of lawlessness leading to more lawlessness. And by the way, that's the way it works. Starts small, ends up bigger like a snowball. Lawlessness leading to more lawlessness. So now present your members as slaves of righteousness for holiness. There was an old song, I don't know if you all remember, saying you got to serve somebody. I think Bob Dylan originally sung it back in the day. And then other people sang, you got to serve somebody. Y'all are too young for that. Yeah, but you got to serve you're going to serve somebody. But why not make it the Lord and not make it sin? That's the point here. You got to decide, who are you going to serve? Verse 20. For when you were slaves of sin, you were free from righteousness. What fruit did you have in the things you were ashamed of? The end of those things is death. But now, having been set free from sin, having become slaves of God, you have your fruit to holiness, and in the end, everlasting life. That's the way you grow, by making a decision to present yourself to the Lord. By the way, you're always going to present yourself to something. Make it about the right thing. You're always in a momentum one way or the other. And if you want to change for the better, you got to submit yourself to the things that God wants you to. And it won't be easy, but God can help you. Amen. God will help you. So, if you want to change for the better, first I'm going to talk about a couple of natural things you need to change to make your life better naturally. You know, this body is the temple of the Lord, isn't it? And we're supposed to take care of it. So here are some natural things that I would recommend that you do to make your life better. First, exercise. Somebody say exercise. All right, you know it. Burn more calories. If you're trying to lose weight, that's what you do. It improves your cardiovascular health and also helps you relieve stress and gives you mental focus. Number two, I'm going to try to get through. I could spend time on each of these, but we won't do it. Number two, get enough sleep. Get enough sleep. The importance of that cannot be overemphasized. If you've been suffering from sleepless nights, there are some basic steps you can take. I would recommend a regular sleep schedule. Staying off the screens at night. You know what I mean when I say staying off the screens at night? I think you all do. All right? Spending relaxing about an hour prior to bedtime. And get your mind on something positive before you go to sleep. You know what? Because if I'm thinking of something that's stressing me, I don't sleep as well. So get your mind on something good before you go to sleep, and you will sleep better. Number three, hydrate. You need water. You need more water than you think. It's essential to all bodily processes, including the secretion and elimination of toxins. People don't drink enough water. You need to have a bottle near you to remind you. A lot of us. Some people have a liter bottle near you to remind you. Continually take regular sips, and it will help you. Number four, eat right. Somebody say eat right. Pastor, I thought you were to talk about Jesus here. Let's just stick with Jesus. Stop meddling in my business. All right? You need to eat right. Maintain a well-balanced, nutritious diet. Get away from the stuff that is hurting you. You got to consume good things, fresh vegetables, things with healthy sources of carbs like sweet potatoes and beans and peas. Proteins are going to help you, like nuts and seeds and eggs. And good fats like avocado oil, olive oil, and fatty fish with omega-3s. These are the things you need to make sure they are part of your regular diet. And don't forget the fresh fruits. They are full of vitamins. Number five, reduce your sugar intake. You got a sweet tooth, everybody does, but it can get you in trouble and could lead you to dental issues. It can lead you to unhealthy weight gain and can lead to even things like diabetes. So be careful. If you need to get your sugar fix, get it on something natural like fruits or honey. I mean, that's possible. You got to know yourself and know your limitations. Number 6, get out in the sunshine. Aside from giving you the opportunity for some fresh air, it will give you some vitamin D right from the sun. And this plays a role in boosting your immunity and helps you to maintain strong and healthy bones. Get outside in the sun, saints. Number 7, engage in mentally stimulating activities. Do you ever play crossword puzzles, read a book, play a video game, something that will help your mind to be challenged? You got to do it because regular stimulation of your mind will keep your brain alert and will keep you, it'll stave off cognitive decline. This is what I would recommend all of you do. Well, I don't need that, Pastor. I'm young. You're wrong. You need to do it throughout your life so you can keep your brain sharp. And one other thing, go for regular preventive exams. Go to the dentist twice a year. Get your eyes checked. And schedule an annual physical. For our ladies, get a gynecological exam regularly. It's actually knowing you're healthy is better than assuming you are, especially if diseases run in your family. Regular checkups. All right, now let me talk about some of the spiritual things as I close. Spiritual things you can do to make yourself better spiritually. First, keep a regular active prayer life. Don't just pray when you feel like it. This is what Jesus did. And if Jesus had to pray regularly, we do as well. So don't put it off. Pray regularly. Second, stay in the Word. Somebody say, stay in the Word. Jesus said, we will not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. We need the Word. Even when you don't think about it, it's kind of like hydrating. You don't always know when you need water, but drink it anyway. Likewise, you need the Word and eat it anyway, even when you don't think you do. That's especially when you do. Come on, you can put your hands together for the Lord for that. Number 3, stay in fellowship with the saints. Fellowship. Somebody say fellowship. Yeah, we're members of one body. Every joint supplies strength to the supporting ligament, and we need one another's strength to grow. You need what I've got, I need what you've got. That's the way God tempered the body together so that there's no lack. That's what he said. But that all the members have what they need. So stay in fellowship. We grow when we're connected, and we decline when we're not. You know, I know that some folk just come to church once a month nowadays. It seems to be fashionable, but you're not going to grow spiritually just by watching television online. I'm not against doing that. Do that, but you need to also be connected with people, real people. Number 5. No, this is number 4. Maintain a life of praise and worship. Maintain a life of praise and worship. Psalm 100 says, I will bless the Lord at all times, right? I think that's Psalm 100. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. You've got to have a regular worship life. And that's how you keep your mind stayed on the Lord. Praising him, worshiping him, keeping your focus on the Lord. And that's how things lose their power over you. When you keep the Lord. That's why David said, I foresaw the Lord always before my face. Because that's how he kept his joy, kept his victory, even when he was tested. And you know David was challenged all the time. But somehow he stayed as a man after God's own heart, didn't he? That's because he had a worship life like few other in the Word. And we need that kind of life as well. Number 5, walk in love. Somebody say walk in love. Jesus said, oh, this is how everyone will know you're my disciple if you have love for one another. That means you've got to think about others as well as yourself. If somebody has a need and you can meet the need, walk in love. Don't just say, I love you in word alone, but by deed and truth, 1 John says. We have to learn to walk in love. Here's number 6. Be careful of old friends. Yeah, there's a verse in 1 Corinthians 15, verse 33 that says, bad company corrupts good character. And that means you've got to know who you can hang out with. There's some people that used to be your friends back in the day, but you can't necessarily hang with them like you used to. It doesn't mean that you stick your nose up in the air, take a holier than thou attitude. It just means you got to watch what's dragging you down. And you got to sometimes you got to love folk from a distance. You got to just wave at them. Look at somebody in the room and just wave at them. Yeah, that's how you got to love some of your old friends, at a distance. Just wave at them. That's what I would say. You got to watch old friends. I remember when I first got on Facebook, I was finding old friends were friending me. And these weren't old friends I should have necessarily been connected to anymore. So I had to politely defriend. Is that what you say? Is there a way to politely defriend? I'm not sure. Okay, unfriend. Yeah, or unfollow or whatever. So I had to know my limitations because I know some people took me back to the day. Y'all don't know nothing about that. But I know some folk I had to watch. Here's another one that's similar. 7, be careful of old habits. Be careful of old habits. Sometimes we think if we had a bad day or if we're stressed that we're entitled to that old indulgence. I had a bad day, so I'm just going to have something to drink, just a little bit of something to calm my nerves. But you got to know what you've been delivered from. You got to be careful of old habits. There's some things, some places that you got to avoid because they trigger you. Do you know what a trigger is? Things that will take your mind back to what you used to do. Be careful of that. And one more thing, number 8, be careful of offenses. Offenses. Jesus said, woe be to the world because of offenses. What's the big deal about offenses? Do you know when you're offended, you give the devil opportunity? You give the enemy access into your soul when you're offended. And there are some of us that have been harboring offense by some people for years. And that's why you're not able to grow the way you want to, because you're giving offense access to you. So be careful of offenses because they are a trap. I think it was somebody that wrote a book about that, about offenses, called them the bait of Satan. I think it was John Bevere. Satan uses it like bait. So if you practice these things naturally and spiritually, you will change for the better. Guaranteed. It doesn't mean everything will be perfect, but it does mean everything will be better.